Kobe, do you know the one thing about Tracy?
Yeah, no, very.
Her so wet. Oh my god. It's so sleazy to say, like in the context of this movie.
It is. It is.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the new year. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. What's going on, guys? Welcome to 2026 Who Watches This podcast.
Right, we are well into the 300s now. 300 episodes. Yeah, we've been doing this for a hot minute.
Yeah. Yeah, and we need more listeners, damn it.
Right, but the 12 of you that do listen regularly, we appreciate you.
Right? I want to tour. I want to stay at shitty motels and do movie commentary in dive bars across the United States.
That would be great. Yes.
Today I did not tell Kobe the theme of this month. Wanted it to be like a little surprise. And after I do the Mr. Movie trailer, I wanted to see if Kobe could guess the theme of this month.
Okay.
All right. 3 Omahans' lives are about to intertwine. One going through a midlife crisis, one fueled by ambition, and one is simple. Let's see who gets the winning vote in 1999's election. Starring Matthew Broderick, Chris Klein, and Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
Yeah, what was the old joke about with her? Like, what's Reese Witherspoon without her fork or some shit like that?
Oh, with her spoon,
yeah.
Without her fork. I get it.
With her fork.
So that's a dad joke.
That's a dad joke. Yeah, Kobe, can you guess this month's theme?
Okay, so it could be high school movies.
Mm-hmm.
This is a high school movie. It certainly could be with Reese Witherspoon movies. Could be election movies.
I don't know if I could do a whole month of that. Swing vote with Kevin Costner.
Bad politics movies.
Oh man, no, I feel like this movie or this theme is very in line with the whole philosophy of our podcast, and it's movies that slip through the cracks. You know,
okay.
So like in this theme, was it?
Yeah, I do remember this kind of like bombed and then.
Yeah, but they got a cult following afterwards. I mean, this movie came out in 1999 in the midst of just a bunch of the dying breed of raunchy high school movies.
Right. Yeah.
And this was more on the more tamer side, you know, because you had like American Pie and like Road Trip. That was college, but you know,
right. And this was more of like a dark comedy than a slapsticky.
Right. I mean, it's still there, but yeah, I know. It's just like a couple of days ago, talking to a friend, and we were like just talking about like old movies, and we started talking about Demolition Man, and he's like, I don't think I've ever seen that. No, like, what? You've never seen Demo Man? And I was like, oh man, you know, like I feel like a lot of people have, like, you know, it's like we're going a little bit retro. We're doing a couple of like a whole month of just old movies this month, and this is probably a good one to kind of start off with because, you know, Reese Witherspoon in the 90s. A lot of people remember her for Fear with Mark Wahlberg. or Cruel Intentions with Ryan Felipe, her now ex-husband, and Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Right.
But not a lot of people remember her for this movie with Matthew Broderick and Chris Klein, who's also, like, funny enough, Chris Klein being a part of the whole American Pie trilogy.
Right, yeah.
And also...
was American Pie after this?
No, I think it's the same year. Or maybe
Okay.
98.
Okay.
Around that time. And so, yeah, I was just like, okay, let's talk about this, because this is... It's just a funny... Like, it's just a dark comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of awkward parts. So, this movie starts off, Matthew Broderick, teacher, high school teacher, probably like around early 40s at this point, just getting his workouts in.
Right, yep.
You know, really good for him, you know, trying to keep in somewhat shape.
Running the track.
Yeah, you know, doing some push-ups and all that stuff. It's just funny because, like, you know, him and Ferris Bueller, skinny guy.
Right.
You know, very, just an average-looking, average body, not like cut or anything. He wasn't like Val Kilmer, Top Gun.
Yeah.
But he was like, if he was a D&D character, he'd be like a bard. I feel like that's perfect for him, right?
I'd say yes.
And in this one, he's just like, he's a little pudgy, but like not in bad shape.
Right. Just
Dad
getting
bod.
a little older.
Yeah, a little older, and you know, he's getting ready for school. He's taking a shower in the locker rooms, trying to find a place for his lunch, and unfortunately, he starts clearing it. And then the janitor comes by. He sees that he misses, and like some Kung Pao chicken falls onto the floor, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm not fucking cleaning that up."
So some interesting, like, as we start, fun facts, is actually filmed at a real high school.
Yeah.
A lot of the background extras are the actual high school students.
Oh, nice.
From that high school, and that the janitor who gives the look as the Chinese food hits the floor is actually the school janitor.
Oh, nice. I noticed that they didn't give him a line, so they didn't have to pay him. Pay him more than they did. Right.
He just got an extra credit. So like he probably got $50 or $100.
Yeah.
In 99 is probably what it was.
And at the same time, we get to see Tracy, who is classic overachiever. She's already at school like an hour before students are probably meant to be there.
Right.
And she's like, you know, she's collecting signatures to be student council president. Which, you know, I feel like...
And like, this totally, like, you could see this girl going to college and then being, you know, Legally Blonde girl.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, you know, she seemed like... It's funny because, like, you always see, like, overachievers in high school that don't do so well transitioning into, like, college.
Right.
But then you could totally tell, like, the other overachievers that are like, oh, they're going to kill it in life.
Yeah.
You know, and they're both annoying. But like they're only annoying because you're like, maybe it's something in you that's like lacking, right? You're like, why don't I want more?
Yes, yeah. Like the lack of ambition.
Is it the lack of ambition, or is it just like the complacency, right? You're like, hey, you know what? I got a roof over my head, clothes on my back, and food in my stomach. Like,
yep.
All right, I could do a lot worse. Which is unfortunate, you know. I wish I was like hungry, you know. I mean, I'm always hungry, but like hungry in life.
It's true, you know. If you're like, man, I have it really rough as a young person. I want to do better for myself,
right?
As opposed to like, oh yeah, no. My parents provided well, you know. I'm quite comfortable.
Yeah, well, I mean, like she wasn't doing so bad either. Like she was like lower middle class, but like her mom made it work.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, but she probably just wanted more. You know, there's just people out there that just want more.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the greed that they talk about in the Bible. But no, yeah, and so the school is starting. We see Chris Klein. He's not really in the background at the beginning. You see him though. He's like hobbling around with a cast on, and everyone's like giving him high fives. And it's like, okay, he's like the cool kid.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and so yeah, the day starts. Everything starts pretty well. But Matthew Broderick is, who's Mr. McAllister in this movie, is kind of not too fond of Tracy Flick.
Right.
And he's like conducting a class, and he's trying to get answers. And Tracy is obviously the kid that's gonna have her hand up all the time.
And I imagine that being a teacher, that would be very annoying. I always remember there being somebody like that in like every class.
Yeah, but like I feel like if it's annoying, you got to just be like, hey, Tracy, put your hand down. I want the rest of the class to participate. I know you know it. You just kind of just acknowledge it.
Right.
And then go about the day. But then like we find a little backstory as to why he's not a fan of her. And so he had a friend that also worked at the school named Dave, and he's like, it seems like they're kind of friends because they jam out together, but he also kind of talks down on him where he's like, yeah, Dave wanted to be a teacher because he never wanted to leave high school.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well,
true, but yeah. But yeah, the he and his wife and Dave and
his
that
wife.
They became friends, and they were hanging out, and it was kind of like his. So they always say like it's hard as an adult. It's hard to make friends.
Exactly.
So that was kind of like his one
friend in
one
this
adult friend. Yeah.
And then at the same time, like Tracy kind of reminisces about Dave too. Right. Because like with Mr. McAllister, he's like looking at Tracy like you're the reason why he left. Because you guys were fucking. And Tracy is like, well, he was like the student or he was the advisor for the newspaper club, and one day, we all went out to go eat, and it was just me and him left. And already Dave was being kind of creepy. He's like, Tracy, I never see you with any friends. You're young, intelligent, attractive, and he kind of like tries to go really quick through that.
Yeah.
But he's like, this is grooming, like, you know what I mean?
Right, and she's like classic overachiever. She's in like all the clubs.
Yeah.
And he and being one of the teachers that never wanted to leave high school, he ends up being like the provost of each of those clubs or whatever they.
The teaching advisor.
Yeah. So, I mean, like she even says, like there was like 2 years that they just became friends because he was the teacher advisor for all of these clubs, and they just kind of got to know each other. And then they kind of like the third year,
that's the year where he was like, and Dave is pretty much one of those adults that just could never mature in his mind.
Right. Yeah, he probably still sees himself as like the high
jock.
School senior. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they start this very inappropriate relationship. They end up also like having sex.
Yeah.
And so he like gives her alcohol, which I was like, oh, that's even more sleazeball. And she's also trying to kind of justify it because she's like, well, I never had a dad. And I was like, oh, God, it gets worse.
Right. She even said that. She's like, you would think it's because I have daddy issues, but it's not. It's because
I have a lack of father issues. Which,
Right. A justification that totally is like, oh, that's daddy issues.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, the smartest people can be so stupid. But, like, also a kid. She's a kid, you know what I mean? In this context, right? And so Dave super falls in love with her, though. He's like, oh, dude, man, she's so supportive of my, of what I want to do and, my novel. And he's like, Mr. McAllister is like, you don't even have a novel. She's like, yeah, but I've always thought about it. And she's like, she wants me to do it because she wants me to read it. And unfortunately, no, not unfortunately, but fortunately, he gets caught up because he like writes this whatever pamphlet, like this like little love note to her, like I could
Oh,
see us in Maui,
right.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And the principal's like, "Hey, did you cross the line with this girl?" And he starts sobbing. He's like, "We're so in love."
Yeah.
So that after like this whole flashback, the day's over. Mr. McAllister is going to his car. Tracy's like, "Hey, hold on, I got all the signatures I needed," even though she's running unopposed.
Right.
And Mr. McAllister's like, "Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you're good, you're good." And she's like, "Come on, you're supposed to keep it." He's like, "Okay,
Right.
fine."
Count the signatures. Take a look
Yeah.
at them.
Oh gosh. And, and so he does. Like he takes it, he throws it away. He's like, "Whatever. You're gonna be fucking president, and then we'll have to." And he's the advisor for the student council,
Right. Yeah.
right? And
The
so
student
like,
government.
so he gets home and he's like talking to his wife about it. Him and his wife have a very uninteresting marriage.
Right. Like they're. It, at that point, you almost are like, are they just roommates? Is this just like a friend that he used to have, and they're like just living together?
Yeah,
And then you realize that they're their husband and wife.
yeah, yeah. Because the way he even introduces her, she's like, "She's my best friend,"
Yeah, right, right.
and yeah, like, God, it just maybe when you're married for so long and then one person thinks it's fine and you're unhappy and you don't know how to breach that situation, you end up doing dumb stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
But like she's always wanted to have a kid, so they do end up trying for the kid later. But before I get to that, next day rolls over and he's thinking about it because like Tracy's like, "Yeah, once I become president, we're gonna spend so much time together."
Right. And she says that in a way that seems
Inappropriate.
inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's like tripping out about that because like at night he like instead of like having
And
sex with his wife.
and obviously the teacher she had the affair with
Yeah.
has been released and has moved out of the state, and the school and the parents have kept it very hush hush to try to not embarrass Tracy. So
yeah, very small town.
So nobody knows about it
Exactly.
except for the handful of teachers that were involved.
Yeah.
School personnel.
And then Miss McAllister is also like sort of not. It's not a loveless marriage because they do end up having sex later. But he doesn't try to initiate. He just like goes downstairs to like watch a porn that's it's a school setting, and he's like thinking about Tracy while he's watching it because she made a comment about Pepsi. So the next morning,
but it also does spark because there's also a football player.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, I have a student football player who can no longer play football because he's got a broken leg."
God, that's such a weird thought process while watching this porno.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he gets to Paul, who's played by Chris Klein, and he's like, Paul is just like, he's a jock, but he's sort of like a gentle giant jock.
I really very similar character that he plays in
American Pie.
American Pie.
Yeah. He's a good kid, and he's just sad. He's like, "Oh, I can't play sports for a couple years or maybe ever just because I'm so clumsy with stuff like this." And so he's like, Paul, Mr. McAllister's trying to talk to him, trying to convince him to run for president. And even then he's like, "I don't know, man. Like Tracy's super hyped for it, and that's like her thing."
Right. And then so he uses his like government class, so like his civics class, kind of like, "Hey, if she runs unopposed, isn't that like a dictatorship?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a true democracy if she doesn't have an opponent. So like you would be really like benefiting the school just by being there, so she has an opponent."
Yeah, she's like, it'll be a good like lesson for the both of you.
Right.
Because like if you're just running unopposed all the time, you're not going to be ready for the real world.
Right. Yeah.
right? And so Paul's like, all right, if you think I should do it, okay. So he ends up, like, he sets up his booth. He's trying to get some signatures. Tracy sees it and is like, what the fuck, Paul? And he's like, oh, Mr. McAllister thought it'd be good for the both of us to, like, just, like, campaign. And he's like, fine.
Right,
I'm going to crush
like,
you.
Yeah, she's like, you're no threat to me. But that she doesn't quickly realizes she is the most like the candidate that is like the most qualified, but he is the candidate that is the most popular.
Yeah.
So then it's like battle is on.
Yeah, but it's also like, honestly though, it is like a good test, right, for her as well to fight definitely underneath that, right? But
yeah.
And so like she's like narrating, she's like, oh my gosh, for someone like me who had to struggle for everything, and him just being all rich and popular, and his dad bought him a truck at 16 is bullshit. And she's like staring daggers at him. But Paul ends up, he goes home for the day, and this is where we kind of meet her sister, who's confused about her sexuality. Right. And is unfortunately trying to rope her best friend into it because she's in love with her best friend. Her best friend's like, I know, this feels wrong, and is pretty mean about it. Like, she probably could have worded the way that she rejected her a little bit better.
Right, yeah.
And, obviously Tammy Metzler, who is Paul's sister, is super upset. And we switched back to Paul, and he's like, yeah, and for some reason, Lisa was like, hey, can I get a ride home? And then I'll give you a blowjob.
Right, because you ask a young freshman, junior girl, and then you have like the hot jock who's like the brother of like a girl that you're friends with, and you can spend time with him.
Well, they were friends until like Paul's like narrating. He's like, yeah, and then all of a sudden Lisa got into a fight with Tammy, and then she was my girlfriend. So obviously Tammy's super pissed about this. She's like mad at Paul, but not like mad about it because she knows her brother's simple. Like, she knows. I think that's what annoys her the most too. Is like her brother is not the type to do anything out of malice.
Right.
You know, he's just so dumb. Like, lights on, nobody home. And so they started, like, Paul and Lisa start a relationship. She becomes his campaign manager. And Tammy's like, fuck that. I'm not going to let them get away with this. So she starts to run for president.
Right.
And Tracy and Lisa are super upset about it. And both complaining. And, like, Lisa's, like, saying, like, she's just doing this to get back at me. And Paul's like, what? Why?
Because he
doesn't know. And then she's like, no, get back at you. And he's like, but why? And she's like,
and then he's even like, can she run since we're brother and sister? Isn't that like illegal?
Such a pretty boy. Like, such a pretty man. You should just go ahead and sit down. I'll take care of this. And at this point, like, Mr. McAllister is just like super done with this whole situation. He's like, whatever, because he's going through his own shit. He's trying to get his wife pregnant, and oh gosh, it is one of the least sexiest sex scenes I've ever seen.
Oh, super uninspired. It is. She is doing it for the
baby.
Right, yeah. Just for the, like, okay, drop this load and get off me, kind of.
Well, no, she's sort of into it because, like, she's like, yeah, fill me up. She's at least trying to do some dirty talk.
Right. I think just to speed it up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That would get me. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. No, that's how I know. Yeah.
Yeah. But then like. My whole thing, but like, yeah, I'm gonna turn you into a Boston cream pie. When I'm done, you're gonna look like an eclair. But he's like a potato on top of her. It's like he's just trying to get it done.
Yeah.
You know, and like they have a couple of these scenes, like even oh gosh, even well, and but then like Mr. McAllister is also helping Linda, who is his friend's ex-wife, helping
Right.
her around the house, you know, doing errands with her, like mowing the lawn, and he's really attracted to Linda.
Right.
And so one day after going to the mall together, they're kind of just like talking in the car, and like the music is like going, and he's like, "Yeah, so should we get a room?"
Because while they're out, it's friendly, flirty, but it could be confusing on because like the flirting is there's enough flirting that you could be like, is she into me?
Yeah.
Or is this just because we've known each other for a while and we're just like haha banter?
I don't know. Like I feel like in that situation, there's like a lot to lose. So you're like,
right.
You're
And,
like,
and he didn't make it as a joke. He was just like, hey, we should pull over and
get a room.
Get a room.
And she's like, wow, that's not fucking funny. And in my head, I was like, come on, man. You're not, if this is going to happen, you have to have her initiate it.
Right.
I don't condone cheating, but I'm just saying, cover your bases.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And, like, honestly, at that point, Linda should have called Diane, who's McAllister's, like, wife. And he's like, hey, your husband tried to fuck me in a motel. So, I don't think it's appropriate for him to come by anymore. But she didn't. And so, like, yeah, McAllister comes home talking to his wife. And she's like, oh, how was it? And he was like, you know, it was cool. But, you know, sometimes she could be so much.
Right. Kind of I don't really want to hang out with her.
Yeah, fucking
alone
scumbag.
Anymore because I just embarrassed myself.
Yeah. And then like later that night they're doing it doggy style, and she's again saying like, oh yeah, fill me up, and he starts to picture Linda.
Yeah.
And he's like going harder. And then for some reason he starts to think about Tracy. And man, they got Reese Witherspoon saying the craziest thing right here, you know what I mean?
And she says it so like dry face. It's like it's so not sexy.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, fuck me, Mr. M, fuck me. I was like, but it gets him going.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. And so yeah, like he's going through his own shit, right? We followed Tammy for a little bit, you know. She so like what's it called? The student president or the student council speeches are going on. Right. And you know, Tracy kills it. You know, she's like, hey, you know, she quotes some old politician quote where like what's it called? The day can't be longer, so you have to make of what time you have, whatever.
Right.
And Paul goes up. Paul actually has a pretty decent speech, but his delivery is just like, yeah, so, you know, everybody at school is so awesome, and I think this is going to be great for the school, so...
Yeah, he just reads it, like, right off a cue card without, like, ever looking up at the audience.
Yeah, you know, sometimes, yeah, it's funny, I remember in The Office when Dwight was super nervous about giving a speech, Jim has him watch like a whole bunch of like dictator videos. And like, here's the thing about being a dictator. Your charisma stats have to be up there to convince a nation of people to commit atrocities.
Yes, yeah.
And that's probably what Paul needed, right? He needed to watch some dictator videos to really rally everybody with him. But Tammy goes up and she's like, this shit is stupid. And you know what? If you guys elect me, I'm going to demolish the student council so we don't have to sit through this shit anymore or ever. So vote for me or don't. I don't care.
And yeah.
Principal is pissed.
Right. And you know, at high school, that nobody 10% care about
Yeah.
student council president, and the rest, everybody else is just like, why are, at least I'm not in class,
Yeah. Yeah, like
So
I
so that
never
resonates
with a
huge.
lot of like the students. Like, hey, can we just like have a free period and then go home? This shit sucks.
Yeah.
And so now like the student president or they freaking suspend her because she's like they're like, hey, you tried to Limp Bizkit Woodstock us, inciting a riot. So you're out. You're out for 3 days, and she's super hyped about it. And
Right.
yeah,
And she does a little internal monologue about, hey, how come if I get in trouble when I skip a day, but if I do something bad, they give me like a vacation? It's like,
right.
So obviously it's like not the first time that she's been suspended.
And like she's like kind of just biking around. She sees like a all girls Catholic school play some soccer, and she's she turned on, I guess.
Right. Interested enough to watch from the bushes.
And then she's like, okay, maybe I gotta go over here. And so like later that night, Tracy's like super worried about it. She's still at school. She's working on some school project, and she notices her poster starts to kind of chip off.
Yeah.
So she puts it. She tries to put it up, but then she ends up ripping it, and she loses her shit.
Right. She gets super frustrated, and then she basically just tears down all of his signs.
Yeah, all of Paul's signs, because he's all like laughing in them and smiling. But she realizes what she's done. And so she tries to hide the evidence. Unfortunately for her, Tammy sees it.
Right.
And so it's like the next day rolls over. Mr. McAllister, he ends up going to Linda's house to unclog a drain, which I was like, ugh, with your bare hands? Disgusting. But her and Linda share a moment. Maybe she was just super sad that day, and they fuck. Yeah, they fuck. And then she's like, as he's leaving, they kind of do like, the morning house routine of like a stay-at-home mom, where she like walks him out to the car and looks around and then kisses him, and she's like, hey, maybe we should get that motel later. And he's like, yeah, okay, cool.
I'm off at 3:25.
Yeah,
I'll be here to grab you.
3:25. And so he gets to school, and obviously, like, what's it called? Paul and Lisa are like in the principal's office, kind of like sad about all of the posters gotten down. And Paul's like, oh, no, it couldn't have been Tammy. Like, it's, she's not that kind of person.
Right. Yeah.
She might be mad, but she's not that kind of person. And Lisa still not telling Paul why it happened. It's just like, it has to be. But Mr. McAllister's like, nope, this has Tracy written all over it.
Yeah, he's 100% sure it was her.
Yeah, and they have this like little battle, and he's like, well, maybe if certain young people weren't sirens to old men, or saying, and she's like, well, maybe old people shouldn't be taking advantage of very impressionable youths and worry about getting their wife pregnant. I was like, holy shit. Ouch. And then Tammy like interrupts them, and she's like, hey, I know who tore the posters down. And he's like, all right, well, hey, you know what, Tracy, go sit outside. Let me talk to Tammy. And this is like, Tammy's like, okay, I found a way to get expelled so she can go to the all-girl Catholic school. Yeah. And Tracy's like tripping outside. She's like, oh my God, I'm going to be exposed. I'm going to be found out. But then Tammy takes the blame because she takes all the evidence out from her bag.
Yeah.
And obviously her parents are super pissed. And they're like, oh, I can't believe this. You know what? We're going to have to send you to an all-girls school. And she's like, oh, no, my life.
The girls' school of the girls' soccer players that I've been watching.
Oh, no.
That I've been oogling.
I'm so sad. And so, like, later that night, like, what's it called? The last period of his, like, class, this town has to be small, right? It's like a 45-minute class. He gives the class a pop quiz, and he's like, I'm going to be back. Nobody cheat. Everybody cheated.
Oh, well, yeah.
Everyone's asking the A+ student, hey, what's the answers? I don't want to beat you up later. But in these 45 minutes, he goes to Walgreens. He gets flowers. He gets a bag of ice. He gets some fucking champagne. He books a room.
Chocolate.
Yeah, some chocolate. He books a room at the motel. He sets it up. Ice in the thing. Flowers on the bed. Chocolate on the thing. And it was like, and he does it all in 45 minutes. I was like, holy shit. And so, like, after school, he goes to pick up Linda. Linda's not there. He checks in the back. She's still not there. And then ends up getting stung in the eye.
Yeah, gets stung on the eyelid by a bee.
Yeah. And so he's like, all right, well, and he waits at the motel until like 5 o'clock.
Right, till dusk.
Yeah. So he ends up going home, and he's like, hey, where's my wife? And his wife is in the living room with Linda, and she's crying.
Yeah.
You know, whenever you do bad shit, you got to be the first to come clean.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so he doesn't even say anything, and he just leaves the house because he knows his life is over.
Yeah.
And he, like, waits in front of Linda's house until morning.
Right, because he basically is like, well, Linda, you told me why. What the heck happened?
Right, so he goes, like, she doesn't come home, so he goes to school, takes a shower there, calls Linda right away, and she's like, what the fuck? You ruined Diane's life. You ruined my life. And then he's like tripping out on her. He's like, I'm so sorry, babe. He's like, I love you. I'll talk to you later. And so that day, they do, like, you know, it was like school voting for the student council president. You know, Tracy votes for herself, but Paul's like, you know, it doesn't feel right to vote for myself.
Right. Another one of those, like, just like good guy, not very smart, like, things that you like, he's if I'm going to win, it's not because I'm going to vote for myself.
Yeah.
That seems wrong.
He's a simple guy. You know, if he was a D&D class, he'd be like a fighter, not a barbarian, because he's not so mad. He'd be like a fighter. He's like, tell me where to swing my sword, and I'll swing it over there.
Yeah.
And so, like, they go to do the count, and funny enough, like, one of the kids that it's counting is the main character from Final Destination, the 5th movie. And he's also Jan's assistant from The Office. You take me by the hand, made me a man, and that night... And he counts Tracy winning by a vote.
Right.
And Tracy kind of looks in, and, like, one of her little henchmen gives her the thumbs up. And as he's counting, he counts it. He's like, well, yeah, I guess Tracy won. But he sees her all fucking happy.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I gotta stop this.
Because, like, the kid's not even supposed to tell him what his count was.
Yeah.
But he's just like, in his head, he's like, obviously Tracy won, so, like, just tell me what it is.
Yeah.
And the kid's like, yeah, it's only like 1 vote difference. And he's like, oh, well, I guess I have to count it then.
Yeah.
You know, just to make sure.
But he sees Tracy all happy and shit, and he's like, I gotta stop this. Yeah. She's gonna fucking...
Right, because he kind of if she just gets this, how high is she gonna go in life, just stepping on how many people's lives is she gonna ruin with her winning,
with her ambition?
Yeah.
Which I was like, dude, you're a fucking teacher, you should be happy that she's so invested. Like, you know what I mean? But his life is just so, like, in tatters. And he's just trying to find somebody to blame, and it's like, it's her.
Yeah, we're taking that on her.
Yeah, so he tosses a couple of, like, votes away, and when they make the announcement, Tracy's like, all right, be humble. You have to show, like, compassion for your opponent and make it seem like it was a hard battle. And when he announces the winner, she gets up, but it's Paul Metzler.
Yep.
And so she's devastated. she's crying at home, and her mom is like, well, you can kind of tell like why she is the way she is, because her mom is like, maybe you didn't have enough posters. I told you.
Right. I didn't really like your speech. I told you not to do that.
Oh, which I was like, that's rough, man. And he's like, I don't know, at a Sizzler.
Something, yeah.
And if you guys don't know what a Sizzler is basically just a very small buffet most towns have. And Paul's there with his family. They're celebrating, and he's like, for a kid that wasn't excited about it, he's like, all right, Mr. M, I got so many plans, like we'll do like a really cool, scary theme for Halloween and for homecoming. He's active.
Right, yeah.
I could see Paul honestly still doing politics after
right,
because
right.
he's like I'd vote for that guy. He's honest. He would probably really be getting in the dirt when he's doing charity work.
Right, yep.
But Mr. M's like, hey, Paul, we have all year to talk about this, so we'll be good, all right? He's like, all right, Mr. M, sorry about that. I hope your eye feels better.
And he's like, I hope Tracy feels better.
Yeah.
She really looked sad when I left. I feel bad that she didn't win.
Yeah, like Paul is like that character is like, I want to fucking hate you, but you're so nice. And so, McAllister, he finally gets a hold of Linda, and she's like, what do you want, Paul? Or no, what do you want? And he's like, well, what happened? Baby, I love you. And he's like, no, we made a mistake. I was really like in a bad place, and you took advantage of me. Right. And he's like, whoa, hold on. You hugged me. You kissed me. And she hangs up. She's not going to take accountability for that. She was in a bad place. You should have stopped it. You should have been a better man.
Exactly.
And so he tries to go back home to Diane. Diane just closes the door on his face. And he's like, all right, tomorrow's going to be better. Everything's going to be better. But when he gets to school, everybody is in the principal's office. For some reason, he didn't throw away his own trash. The janitor's like, yeah, fuck you, man. Those look like votes. You fucked up, dude. So he ends up,
and the kid who did the first, it was like he's certain, like he's like, no, I counted it. This is the amount of votes that there were supposed to be, and for some reason, like your count
wrong.
Is too short from the total people that voted, and he's like, I didn't make a mistake. Why are you?
Yeah, why are you blaming
my
me?
Fault?
Yeah.
And
so Mr. McAllister ends up like resigning,
Right.
Funny enough, he ends up car to car with that kid, and the kid's okay. See, like I feel like this is where like some people need to just like take the win inside of themselves, right? Because this kid sees him, spits on his car.
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, this guy is like, well, I'm pretty sure he doesn't know that him and his wife are about to get divorced, but he just got fired. He might kill me. So like, let me just look at this guy and just like have the W in my head. Like, I fucking got you. Yeah.
Because after that he might go full Columbine.
Yeah, he might fucking kill me, dude. Postal. That's the more appropriate. He might go postal on me.
Yeah.
And Mr. M is just like, maybe it's time for me to get the fuck out of Omaha. And so we do like a really quick wrap up of the movie. We see Paul's like, oh, it's kind of sad that I wasn't like, the president, but it was cool. My last year was pretty tight. I got into the Northwestern, which is the college I wanted to get into.
I got voted homecoming king
prom
king.
And, I got to go into a frat. Unfortunately, me and Lisa broke up by Christmas. I don't know why, but it's okay. And then we do a wrap up with Tracy. And Tracy's like, yeah, my last year was great. I killed it as student council president, but, like, I didn't really have any friends. And like, you know, even though I was president, Paul was always the one that was surrounded by people. So like maybe college would be better because I'll be with people that are like in my mindset of like wanting to succeed and stuff. And
Right.
unfortunately, I think she was at Yale. She
Northwestern.
or Northwestern as well. Yeah, she was like, I was just surrounded by fucking rich kids that didn't care.
Yeah.
You know, and then we cut to Mr. M, and he's like, I moved to New York. Everyone always wants to go to New York. He's got a job at the what's called the Museum of Natural History as a
Right.
tour guide. He
So he's like,
lives.
I'm not
Yeah,
like a school teacher, but I'm still a teacher.
yeah, I'm still teaching, and I live in a very small apartment. But I was like, geez, in 1999, it was 1550. Holy shit! Now just imagine what it is in 2025
Oh,
or
right.
2026.
Right. Yeah.
That thing is like $4,000 now for
Yeah.
this.
It's the apartment where you could touch your bed, your sink, your toilet, and your front door
Yeah.
all at the same time.
Oh god. But he's like, I got a new girlfriend, so that's cool, and you know, life is pretty good. And but you know, I did see Tracy one more time. I was in D.C. for a museum conference,
Yep.
and I saw her with the representative. She was so fucking happy, and she ends up like,
Why is she in a limo?
yeah. And probably does like the dumbest thing you could do, which is like throw something at a government official's car.
Right. Yeah.
He does end up getting away, but the movie kind of just ends there. Now there is an alternate ending, but we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Kobe. We go to our other section: high star, low star.
Boom. Boom. 10 out of 10, and that's our electoral system, folks, not our electrical system. Election is a satire on our electoral system set in an Omaha high school. Reese Witherspoon is the overachiever Tracy Flick, trying as hard as possible to get elected, but teacher Jim McAllister will try as hard as possible to stop her, even if that means a few unethical actions. Probably the best scene in this movie is the debates after Tracy and Paul debate. Paul's sister Tammy says something to the effect of, what's the deal with school elections? Class president is just something that people like to put on their college applications. If I get elected, I think that I'll eliminate these positions altogether. As far as I'm concerned, that's totally accurate statement. All in all, anyone who wants to really understand our electoral system only need to watch Election. This movie is perfect.
And then we have a 1 out of 10. Not funny, not sexy, just awful. The movie's a real disappointment. The humor is spread thin, interrupted by lots and lots of sex scenes. Gratuitous, implicit sex abounds, but nothing erotic involved. Believe me, I'm no prude, but how many sex scenes do you need in a movie less than 2 hours long? There's a lesbian scene, a teacher-student scene, an adultery scene, a fellatio scene, a porno movie viewing scene, and 2 boring married people having sex. Not one of them is the least bit erotic. I don't think this was supposed to be erotic.
Right.
What was the point? There's humor, but not enough. The plot is thin, predictable, and pointless. A real disappointment all the way. I actually wouldn't like. I try to see the merits in 1 out of 10s, but like I don't think this movie is boring, and I don't think the plot is thin, but like it's interesting. Because this movie kind of doesn't have any real villains.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So before we get into other thoughts, let's talk about that alternate ending. Did you watch
actually, the alternate ending is the ending from the book.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
And they say it's the alternate ending, but it was the original ending, and it tested really badly with viewers, so they reshot the ending to make it so there wasn't any like resolution between the two.
Well, like it's what's funny is like the alternate ending or the ending that's more closely true to the book is out of tone for the movie.
Right.
That's what it was
Totally.
because like in the original ending it's not even she's not even hostile towards him because she's like I stopped thinking about him by the end of senior year.
Right.
And then by the time that now she's maybe a political advisor or an intern into politics or whatever, she's just living her life like how she kind of chastised his like lifestyle
Right.
earlier in the movie, because earlier in the movie she's like, oh my god, just look at him, just day in day out in the same, I don't know, 10 by 10 classroom, just watching all these youths gonna go live a better life than him.
Right. Yeah.
And she ends up, yeah, she ends up kind of proving it right almost. I mean, a museum is like, at least the Museum of Natural History is a little bit more like less confining than a classroom for for a teacher.
Right.
it,
Yeah.
it I guess it all just depends on your mindset, right? Because if you're a teacher and that's what you love to do, that it's not sad for you,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
but she's obviously living her best life. But in the alternate ending, he becomes a car salesman,
Right.
and she ends up like, hey, I need to, goes to his dealership, and she's like, I kind of wanted to, squash whatever animosity that we have with each other.
Right.
And they end up doing that. Like, she's like test driving a car that she wanted to get for college, and ends up taking her to her house. I was like, oh, is this gonna be like, are they gonna fuck?
Yeah, I was worried that was. Then that seems like that would have been more on point with the rest of the story.
Yeah. What, at least the movie,
Right.
at
Yeah.
least the movie's tone of like very inappropriate relationships, and
Yeah.
but she ends up just bringing out her yearbook, and because nobody signed her yearbook.
Right.
And so they kind of like, yeah, they kind of end up squashing their beef. He's like, because she's like, I don't feel like I'm ready for college, and he's doing what a teacher should be doing or should have done at the start, and just been like, hey, I feel like you're gonna be fine. You're gonna do really well.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but like, yeah, tonally, it would have thrown off the movie.
Right. Yeah.
You'd have been like,
Yeah.
whoa, that was so upbeat.
It's right, a strange resolution
Yeah.
like that.
And like, and it's like, it's easy to be like, well, Mr. McAllister was like he was the villain, but he was just a guy going through a midlife crisis and kind of pointed his frustrations out on a student who, in his eyes, should have been a victim of a friend, and he just needed somebody to blame, and unfortunately
Right.
that was a student. But like, I feel like that's also a relatable thing for a lot of people.
And even though it certainly was all his friend's fault for having that relationship, still he's still blaming her that his friend is now no longer there.
Yeah, so like,
Uh,
you could say that he's probably the most villainous in this, just because again, he's also the adult.
right. Yeah.
But hey, sometimes your fucking life spirals out of control, and
Right. Because if he was just another high school student, then he certainly wouldn't have been a villain. It would have just been like just situational of these like kids that are trying to deal with reality. But yeah, like you said, like he's the adult, so he should know better.
yeah,
He should
yeah,
take the higher road, even if he.
yeah, even if it sucks. And like, Tracy isn't really a villain, but like, she's also, it's so easy to be like, well, she's a kid, but then she's also really smart. She's very aware of what she's doing, and I'm pretty sure that like she knew the morale, or like because they had like a little talk about morals and ethics.
Right.
And it was funny that she was so eager to answer that question, because she's smart enough, at least her character is smart enough to know that like what they were also doing was was wrong.
Right. Yeah.
But again, daddy issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing I found that was like really interesting. I don't know. Like the second time I watched, because the everybody thought narrates their
Yeah.
own character, and usually like in a movie, like you're either getting their thought like of like that moment,
Yeah.
or they're like they're building onto the story so that you don't have to see, like you could watch him do this while he's talking about this in his
Yeah.
head, and then save yourself 15 minutes of the movie. But like watching it the second time, because then I knew like everything that was going to happen. Their thoughts they're basically lying. They're just like all that narration is just justification
Yeah.
of things that they do wrong later.
Yeah.
So it's really like interesting because like I didn't at all catch that the first time, but then the second time I was like as because I know where they're going, like they're just convincing themselves that they're the right one.
Yeah.
And trying to convince the audience before something happens that they're in the right,
Yeah.
even though it's completely not how the story goes.
Right? It's like when you're trying to like confess something, but you're like, hold on, let me give you context before I tell you how much of a shitty person I am.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I do want to note, like I know I said like Tracy is also to blame. Ultimately, it's still Dave's fault. I don't want people to be like, wow, victim blaming. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But the funniest thing is like the person that's really just the best person in this movie is Paul. Just so ignorant,
But even the couple times that he is like thought narrating,
yeah,
he's like glorifying himself.
Yeah. Yeah, but like like
he's a thank you God for I guess
big
everybody
penis.
Everybody tells me I have a big penis, so thank you for that. And
but like it's funny because it's like it's sort of like that when people brag and they don't know they're bragging.
Right.
And like when people are doing it maliciously, and he's just so dumb. Like that guy he's gonna be so happy in life. Because he's never gonna have to worry about anything. As far as he won't have gray hairs until like he's 70.
Right, and he even kind of like says that like he's doing at the very end when like he's talking about he's like I didn't win the presidency, but I was homecoming queen or king and prom king, and I got to go to all these parties because I wasn't busy being
student council president,
and so like gosh, it's kind of like my life's been like way better because of that.
Yeah,
well, who knows if I was president right now I might be dead. What?
But like you gotta be like it's like he's looking at the bright side of things.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
He's definitely that guy that's like my glass is half full all the time.
All the time.
And you're kind of if you're like a neurotic person, you're kind of jealous of that. You're not like if you're not like a overthinker, you're just like wow, I'm just so jealous that like that house is empty up there.
Right.
And you could just fill it with whatever you want. But this movie is so much fun, though. But we're coming up to our hour, so I want to go ahead and thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check all of our other months down below where we have all of our holiday-themed months with Christmas and Halloween being the predominant ones. But we also have a lot of off-the-wall stuff like this month's theme. But we do our reviews in 4 different sections. We have streaming DVD, a Blu-ray, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Colby, where are you at for this one?
This has got to be Blu-ray. Like it's really funny because I saw this within a year after it came out. I don't think I saw it in the theater, but I saw it within a year or so after it came out.
Yeah.
And I didn't really appreciate it. And so much different watching it now. I guess I was like just out of high school, So I was looking at it from like that point of view, and now I'm looking at it from like much more Mr. McAllister's
Yeah.
point of view, kind of like, and it's totally different movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is
No,
this is
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny when you say that because like I'm also like around that Mr. McAllister age, and I can totally see why I'd be like, man, fuck all these young people. You know, they still have the light in their eyes. They still have all this like hope.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
Life hasn't beaten you guys down yet. You know, they say trials and tribulations make you who you are. Man, I miss the person before the trials and tribulations. Oh, and it's funny too because like I'm a little bit of like Paul as well. Like you know, obviously like I still have my worries and stuff like that, but I try to be pretty easygoing for the most part.
Right. Oh yeah.
And like, you know, kind of like taking that from Paul is like, you know, sometimes you have to let stuff slide off your back and kind of just look at the other positive stuff, you know?
Right.
And
yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, Paul, he's just gonna inherit his dad's cement company and still be pretty fucking rich.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
fucking sweet, man. But I want to go ahead and thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check all of our social media links down below.
We got our Facebook, our Twitter, Threads, X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're on it all.
And we're trying. Not as hard as we should be, but we're trying.
No, we're trying though. We're trying.
It's right now at the time of filming. It's December, so like the cold is, you know, made us all sluggish.
Sun goes down at 4:15, and I'm like, okay, it's 8. Let's go to bed. Oh
no,
it's not even 5 yet, and I'm already like, start wrapping the day up.
I know. You know, when I go to work, it's like almost 2 o'clock, and I'm like, why does it look like it's about to be dusk?
Right. Yep.
Oh man, but thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check it out as a theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on the album Music Podcast 3, and her Bandcamp is down below.
Oh, thank you.